toy.
We're wanted men. I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 145 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn, and with me as always is Jason. Jason, how are you doing today?
Swell. How are you?
I'm good. I've heard you had a little bit of a fun time getting home this afternoon, huh?
Yeah, almost got in a car accident on 75 on the way home from the lake.
Oh my God.
Some guy slammed on his brake, and then I slammed on my brake and nearly hit him, but that was fun. And then I was just like a block away from home and I got a flat tire.
Oh,
I got the warning light that my low tire pressure. And the next thing I know, I hear this grinding sound and I'm like, wait, I don't think that's low tire pressure.
Oh,
I think I
geez.
have a flat. So I had to unload the coolers and the suitcases and all that fun stuff. I'm just thankful it wasn't on the highway. Let's focus on the positive. I wasn't on the highway. I was a block from home. I didn't even have to drive far on the temporary tire. Got straight into the shop, got a new tire. I'm good.
Yeah, and on a Sunday, so you gotta love when that happens.
Although I was down, taking the tire off, and I hear my favorite pair of shorts ripped.
Oh,
But to be fair, these are like 20-year-old shorts, so it was time to retire them, and we did. So it was
I
time.
bet your Shannon was just like, damn, they ripped.
I don't
Darn.
think she cares.
Darn, I can't believe your 20-year-old pants ripped.
They're gone. They're gone. Ride them till they die, and they died. So it's over.
Damn it. Well, cool. Anything fun happened this weekend other than tires and
Let's jump into it. We had the
yeah, we can jump unless you got something else you want to talk about first.
We have pickups, but I'm sure you're gonna go over pickups during the
Joefest
Joefest section. I didn't have any pickups this week. I do have some news, so I can talk about that real quick. It's been a while.
Yeah.
The first bit of news is that Ahsoka will premiere on August 23rd on Disney Plus.
Yes,
So that's exciting.
it is. So now I know when I can start setting my alarm for 4 a.m. on Wednesdays again.
Yeah. We're recording this on Sunday at about 4:30. So some of this just broke for us. Star Wars Outlaws is a new video game by Ubisoft and Massive Entertainment that's coming in 2024.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's a open world game. Meaning you can go wherever you want. So this trailer that I saw today on Sunday is more of a cinematic cutscene trailer, setting up the character as some sort of scoundrel, probably in the underworld of Star Wars. And there was a shot of Han Solo in carbonite. So this looks like it takes place during the original trilogy, between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, possibly. It kind of looked cool and exciting. She had a Lothcat as her companion. There's going to be a game, like in-game trailer. By the time this gets posted, it'll be live for people to watch. So head over to YouTube and you can check that out. But it's going to be a PS5, Xbox X, and a PC game. So I will need to get an Xbox X to play the game.
All right. Then you just need like $500-$600, right?
Only, if I can not have to buy tires, I can buy an Xbox.
Or Star Wars toys or anything crazy like that, right?
Yep. Some dude on Twitter is saying that I just never know how, I don't want to comment on rumors, but it's a slow week. Idris Elba is rumored to be the villain for this Rey movie that they're working on.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is actually true because it's just some dude on Twitter.
Right.
but I like it. That's why I'm
Yeah,
commenting on it.
that's a good casting. I guess they were done putting no names in Star Wars a long time ago.
Yeah, but he's got gravitas. He could be firm. He could be scary when he needs to be, but he can be compassionate and empathetic on the other hand. So, maybe we get a villain that's got both of those traits. Someone that's ruthless is probably the word I was looking for. Ruthless, but also empathetic. So,
Right.
I
And he
think it's
makes a damn good CEO
of what show?
of a paper company.
Oh, right. He was on The Office. Yes. Yeah. It's probably a vice president or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say paper salesman, but I knew it wasn't paper salesman. So he's a little
Yeah.
bit more than that.
He was also Himdall in the Thor movies, and he was also in the first Pacific Rim, and I think The Wire, but I've never seen The Wire, which is probably something I should fix.
Yeah, well, probably I should watch it too now that I got HBO Max, or now it's Max. But that, and he played what did he play? The gunslinger in the really bad adaptation of the Gunslinger Stephen King books. But
yeah,
he's a pretty good actor.
The Dark Tower.
Dark Tower, yes, Dark Tower, which I was so looking forward to that movie, and it just failed miserably.
Yeah, I never got into it. I never bothered watching it. Everyone was saying it was so bad, so I was just like, I don't want to
Have you read
waste
the books?
my time. No, I haven't read the books.
It's some really good. I mean, Stephen King, because what he did was it took him 30 years to write the 7 books. So he incorporated a lot of his other writings into the book. So it's sort of like, I guess it's a MCU of the Stephen King universe.
Yeah. And it's my understanding he didn't have a plan when he sat down to write it.
Mm-hmm.
So he just kind of made it up as he actually wrote it. He was thinking as he was writing, and he didn't like have a pre-plan to say, I want to get to this point at the end of the book. It was just go, go, go.
Right. No, they're really good books. I've haven't read them in a long time, but I think I read them. I've read them, I know, at least twice.
Yeah. Stephen King is an excellent writer. I was just looking at The Shining and Dr. Sleep. He's a genre writer, but he's so much more than that. Like it could be literary fiction if you really wanted it to be, but
Right.
I think it's putting him down and knocking him down just by saying he's a genre writer because he's so much more than that.
Right. Yeah, I haven't read anything that's not Star Wars related in so long that I kind of forget what if there is anything other than Star Wars related content out there.
He's got one of my favorite books by him actually is an autobiographical. I have it right here next to me called On Writing. And part of it, he goes through his career as a writer.
Uh-huh.
But then the other half is like, and this is what I've learned about writing and the things that you should focus on. And as you can see, I have put tabs. Put tabs on the book itself. Yeah. So there's some really good nuggets. If you're a writer, highly recommend this book, On Writing by Stephen King. But anyways, I don't know why we're here.
Because we were talking about Elis Albra and playing the gunslinger. And
Lars Mikkelsen was talking to Empire online, and he said because they asked him about his voice and if he was doing the voice that he did on Star Wars Rebels, because he's the only only actor who's portraying the character in Bo-Katan. Anyways, he's the second character to portray the animated version in live action. He says, I'm not losing the voice, but I'm tweaking it into live action. When you do an animated character, there's a whole melodious approach. Melodious.
Okay.
That's the word. He's talking about the melody of the voice.
Right.
When you're there as a real person, that would just slightly be too much if you just focused on the voice. I think he's talking more about being in the character and being present and being the full body rather than just the voice.
Right. Oh, that makes sense.
So don't expect the exact same. We were talking last week about tweaking, Bo-Katan a little bit, and I would expect, some of that for Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Right. I'm just hoping that he's as menacing on live action as he is on the cartoon.
Yeah. And one last rumor for the week that there's 2. We probably should talk about it because last week was kind of slow, but one rumor I want to squash. But anyways,
okay.
the next TBC we've talked about, there's a rumor that it's the Ghost,
Right.
and that it's going to be $600. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. The sail barge was $500. The big Millennium Falcon, the Smuggler's Run version, that retailed at Target for about $400. When you look at the rising costs for the past couple of years, we were just complaining about the cost of the speeder bike being $45 when the Black Series, the TVC version is $45 right now. The Black Series was about the same 4 or 5 years ago. So when you start looking at the prices rise due to inflation, due to whatever, you look at the cost of the action figures, which have gone up from $12 to $20 to $18, $16. You know, it's all in that range. It's no surprise that something that's the size of the big Millennium Falcon is now $600. So I kind of feel like that might be true, that the Ghost might be a $600 HasLab.
I
But
talked to
it's
a
still
lot
a
of
lot.
I talked to some people this weekend, especially with the them releasing that the helicopter, the GI Joe helicopter, for just under $300, and it funding in less than a day.
Yeah.
That they were, you know, it better be one. It better, for $600, it better come with all the figures, or a good chunk of figures, and the Phantom. It better that better be the first tier, or it better have a lot of stuff coming with it. If they can't pull a Rancor with this.
No.
Especially on that price point. And it's, you know, and we were talking, I talked to a lot of people, and they're like, well, the 20%. I'm like, okay, add $50 to that helicopter, then you're at, you know, 300, $325.
But they own GI Joe.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. If since, you know, they got to pay Lucasfilm another 20% on top. So if you add $50 on top of that, then you're at $325 to $350, and you're still, I think, okay with that, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's annoying that stuff that GI Joe, even though I know it's their own IP, it just sucks that they get the way cooler stuff, and the stuff gets funded a lot easier than Star Wars does.
comparatively, I think more accurately would be that Ghost Rider vehicle, which did not fund, which was $350.
Right.
So you have a car with lights. I think it's got LEDs. At least the photos had it, for $350. But you have this helicopter with lights with a 6-inch figure for $275.
Yeah.
And so what's the $75 difference? Because I don't think Marvel has the same licensing deal as Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as expensive. So what's going on there?
Right.
It's
Well, and I think they
frustrating.
messed up with the Ghost Rider because they based it on the current Ghost Rider versus the classic Ghost Rider. So I think if maybe they would have based it off the classic Ghost Rider, they would have been better.
I think I'm talking more about, someone explained to me how the vehicle's $350, but the helicopter's $275. Like, how's there a price gap there? That's the thing that I'm struggling
Gotcha.
with.
Maybe it is a licensing fee, but it shouldn't, like you were saying, yeah, it shouldn't be that much.
Unless they were just swinging for the fences and we're like, we could just do whatever we want and people will pay for it.
Hopefully they've learned from the failure of their current, you know, the last few failures they've had.
I just feel like in this economy, with people being strained, people being a little bit more cautious about spending, that a $600 HasLab is a tall order.
Yeah.
And I think it would be more appropriate to start small with something else and save the Ghost for another time. But I know it takes years to prepare something like this.
Right.
I would imagine at San Diego Comic-Con, there's going to be the gray model on display at their booth.
We've got a little over a month, don't we? When is that? It's sometime in July, right?
Late July. It's like
Okay,
the third weekend in July, possibly.
I mean, it's the perfect time to release the Ghost. I mean, I think you're doing it about a month or two too early. I would wait for Ahsoka to get going before you release it or announce it. But you know, they hopefully learn from their past mistakes. And I'm also thinking, because I know there's also been rumors of a Death Star, correct?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I know nothing about that. I've heard
you don't
rumblings.
know anything about
I don't know.
Star?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay, fine.
It's weird.
Weird.
But whenever they do these HasLabs for TVC vehicles, the vehicles blow up. So what if they close funding and the Ghost blows up in Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope the Ghost doesn't blow up. And they're already talking about wanting to do a second season of Ahsoka, so we're not going to see the death of Ahsoka in season 1.
No,
I would messing with us.
I would assume it's more of a sacrificial thing in the Dave Filoni movie.
Oh crap! Yeah, I
she
keep
might
forgetting.
Kill herself or sacrifice herself, similar to what Luke Skywalker did in Return of the Jedi. But instead of Luke living, Ahsoka will die.
Right.
That'll be
Or
the
they're
result of
standing
that.
on a bunch of oil cans that are about to blow up, and she forces them off.
Again, part 2. But yeah, something similar to more of a fate of Kanan than Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
But it's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, they have to kill her off, even though it's going to suck.
But you have to have some sort of phantom, and the phantom is an essential part of the vehicle.
Right.
For me, so I would think that needs to be part of it. And then anything else on top of that is a tier. And
I would go ahead.
I'm all for, you hit the $7,000 mark or 7,000 backer mark, and we get $100 off.
That would be cool.
I mean, at some point when you have a big volume, the price gets a little. You get, it costs less to make more. So
right,
give me the savings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if let's just pie in the sky it. If they were going to release it at $600, it had to have the Phantom, and it would have to have at least Hera, Jason, and Chopper with it. And I think that would be a good starting point.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then
they haven't showed Jason in any of the trailers yet.
You see his hand.
Oh, so he's in it?
I
didn't study it that much.
In my head canon, you see his hand.
Oh.
Because there's a hand that's in the Ghost on the table, reaching, trying to pull a glass towards him. So, and it's a young hand. So that's Jason's hand. In my head canon, that's Jason.
I hate that name.
I know you do. But so and if it's not Jason, it needs to at least be Sabine. They need to have 3, maybe 4 characters and the Phantom to add to start at $600. I think, to make it worthwhile.
Or Ahsoka herself.
Rosario
Dawson version.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, but you need to have Hera, Chopper, Ahsoka, and Sabine or Jason. Combination those 4, maybe 5, with the Phantom at $600. I don't care if they're in box, if they've been on cards, or because guess what? That they're getting open and they're getting put in the freaking Ghost, because damn it, this is a ship I've been waiting for.
Yep.
So
$600 is an opener. That's not a boxed item. I have to open it.
I did see a lot of at Joefest, just speaking of HasLab stuff, they had a lot of the Sky Strikers that were like $300 in cases, still in box, which is basically what they were selling for.
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4 of those, and I think I saw some. I saw maybe at least one, or it may have been pictures. And there were so many shows going on this weekend, and so many pictures. But you're still seeing, sail barges for $1,500, $2,000, still sealed. So they're out there if you want to pay for it.
Well, no, I got mine. I'm good.
Yeah.
I love that vehicle. That is an incredible vehicle. They knocked that one out of the park.
The sail barge?
The sail barge. Yeah, that's like the creme of the creme for me. I like the big Millennium Falcon. I like the Razor Crest, but that sail barge is just wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think, where the hell am I going to put the Ghost? Because it's going to be huge.
Well, just build a display right there behind you.
Yeah, I could put it in my office.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Something like that. Like Narayan's got the Falcon in that display case with the acrylic on it.
Yeah.
Like I could see that for you because you care so much about the Ghost.
It would be freaking amazing. Well, the only issue is if I can't really put it on my floor, because that's where people, when we have guests, that's where they sleep, is on an air mattress on my floor. So I got to keep the floor kind of open.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They can sleep on the floor.
They can spoon the Ghost. It'll be great.
Here's a couple sleeping bags. Sleep in the hallway, peeps.
Yeah, here you go.
Um,
Actually, I'll just put it in my living room, move everything out of the way, put it in the living room. I'm sure Mandy would love that.
there's another rumor that I hate, but it's not going to happen. But the rumor is that George Lucas is going to buy back Star Wars. Like that is at a discount. I'm like,
Why?
no, it's not happening. It's not, because Darth Vader is just as iconic as Mickey Mouse. And I think it would be dumb to sell Darth Vader. And if you're going to sell Star Wars, if it's not George Lucas, it would have to be a major corporation like a Universal, Comcast, Paramount, Viacom. And you're not going to sell it off to someone like that. I know Disney's
No.
cutting costs and they're like selling off their stake in Hulu, or I think that's going on. But
No, they're not. I think they're combining Hulu and Disney Plus at the end of the year.
okay, yeah.
It'll be one thing.
But they're looking for ways to cut costs, and I just think it's not. I think your stock prices will go down if you lose a major property like that. So I still
Oh
think
my God.
by the end of the summer we might get an announcement about a replacement for Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
I think that's more appropriate. I think that's more.
Because she's like 70 years old, which is crazy. She doesn't look
Go
70.
retire. Go have fun. Retire.
Yeah,
New blood,
that's
fresh blood.
Yeah, something needs to change at the top, and I don't want Dave Filoni to do it because he needs to be creating content, like you said.
Yes. And I don't want a producer, because the producer was, I know enabling is sometimes used as a negative word, but she was giving, maybe providing. She was providing the story makers what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me wonder, is Star Wars George Lucas, and is George Lucas Star Wars? Like, can you have it without the other?
We've been having it for the past few years, and I did see something that Disney, it was like comparing Disney to Dave Filoni, because what the stuff Disney was doing, that Disney was using going to be popular, but then like Dave Filoni, when he finally was able to get his hands on the Mandalorian and do it the way he wanted to in season 3, he was doing it more mythos and giving the fandom what they wanted, and building it on mythological stuff versus popularity. So that's why we got the Mandalorian the way we did this season. So maybe, yeah.
Well, now that I think about it, George Lucas was in charge of Lucasfilm, and he was making content,
right,
and running all those businesses. I'm sure Filoni could do the same.
Yeah, why not?
I just want to make sure his focus is on storytelling, because I feel like him and Tony Gilroy are the Golden Star winners of Lucasfilm right now.
Right. That'd be fun, dude. I would be all for it. As long as the storytelling didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of storytelling and Lucasfilm, guess what I watched this week?
There's a lot. Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I watched
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Raiders of the Lost Ark this week.
And?
I don't know if it was just underwhelming or if the lore of it was so much. I mean, or maybe there's several things several thoughts that I have on it. Okay. I forgot, because there's a lot of stuff that happens and a lot of stuff you remember from your childhood, like the guy with the sword coming out and Indiana Jones shooting him. And you remember snakes. Why does it have to be snakes? Yeah. And you remember the ending when he's shoving in the big warehouse, the Ark in the big warehouse. Yeah. And I didn't realize it all came from that one movie. I'm thinking it comes from the whole movies, but it's like everything you remember comes from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
And maybe I'm so used of 8-episode storytelling right now. And when it's in a 2-hour movie, there's just no backstory to it, or not a whole lot of buildup, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was fine. I guess I was a little underwhelmed. I think that I had a more buildup to it, and it just, yeah. I
built it up too much, I guess, for you to revisit.
I don't know, but I'll finish watching the other 3 or 4. There's 4, right?
There's 5 soon. There's 4 right now.
Soon. But I'll watch them. I mean,
Some of Temple of Doom was recycled ideas that they had to cut out from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So when you see that mine train race, that was originally storyboarded for Raiders of the Lost Ark, but they had just too much material, because the whole philosophy behind Indiana Jones is back in the 30s and 40s, they used to run serials, like small, short clips of something happening. And then at the end, there'd be a cliffhanger and you'd be like, stay tuned to find out what happens. And so you'd have to go back the next week. And so they decided to make a movie that's just a bunch of those all together. So you had the ball chasing him and then he escapes. And then you had the whole bar scene. Like that could be another serial. And then you had, trying to go through this in order. So what comes after that?
Well, he was in the classroom.
So they go to Egypt and the whole fighting in Egypt. And then he
Right.
goes into, so it's just a bunch of scenes, put a bunch of serials cut together.
Okay.
And instead of having cliffhangers, it's just like, and this leads into this next action scene. And then, so it just like, he gets the Ark, he loses the Ark, he fights the Germans, and then he gets the Ark back again. And then he loses the Ark, and then he gets back on a boat, and the boat, you know, the Nazis get the Ark again. And so he has to jump off and get on this. And it's just like a back and forth. And I don't know. I love the format. Anyways, moving on.
And I kept looking at like Miriam, and I'm like, why don't you wear like normal shoes? Or, you know, I felt bad for her because she's like in heels, and then she's barefoot in one scene, and
she's essentially like the Princess Leia, though. She's got the spunk and the tenacity of Princess Leia, just in Raiders.
Right. And they dressed her for eye candy. It's like she just never had a sensible outfit.
No, I mean, that's the time. I don't know if they would do that today, but I mean, who knows? But
and then I thought it was also funny because when she's in the nightgown, it's like long enough to where they could hide her shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, the reviews are starting to come in for the new one, and it's getting worse and worse, I guess you would say, for the reviews. But I'm just with some of these reviews, it's just, are these reviewers just saying negative stuff to get the clicks because they know people like Indiana Jones, and what does he have to say? Who doesn't like it? Let me read more. Like, I haven't read any of those because I just want to save it for myself.
Yeah.
If it's mediocre, then it's mediocre. We still have Raiders and Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. So
right.
That's my point of view.
Yeah.
I'll just have fun.
I think that's my theory with stuff. I just need to turn my brain off and enjoy it for a couple hours. And I don't think I did that. I was like a little bit hyped up, and I'm like, let's see what this thing is. And then you're like, oh, I remember this. And oh, I remember that. And
well, I wonder, because you kind of liked some, I don't know. I wonder if you like Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. I feel like you're going to like Last Crusade the most.
Okay.
Based on your reaction to Raiders.
Right. Well, I also watched Avatar, The Way of Water. We watched that, and that was like a 3-hour movie. So we had to watch that in like stages.
Yeah.
It was like 3 freaking hours. And I watched the first Shazam because I'm like, oh, if I want to watch Temple of the Gods or Fury of the Gods, I got to watch the first Shazam. So it was like a movie watching marathon. And I thought, did you see Avatar yet?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Oh, okay. I thought it was good, and I'm also watching it going, I know a way to cut this movie down to 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a remake of the original. It's just, instead of being on land and trees, it's in the water. And instead of mining unobtainium, you're mining the core of a space whale.
Right, exactly. I was like, man, you could have cut at least a half an hour out of this movie just by not making it so, you know, watching people learn their new environment.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was good. And about the time you're getting tired of it, then it starts getting active. You know, the action kicks in.
Yeah, James Cameron's good. He just just edit down a little bit. We don't need 3 hours. This is not the Bible. You can edit yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you know, like I said about Wonder Woman 88, the best part of that movie is it was free in my living room.
Yeah.
I got to watch it for free in my living room.
Yeah. Well, you had to pay for HBO, but anyways, the last piece of news I want to announce is this Saturday, June 17th, the West Virginia Club is putting on JediCon in New Martinsville United Methodist Church from 10 to 4. There'll be some cool autographs, one of a kind items for the silent auction. All proceeds will go to the West Virginia Children's Miracle Network. For additional information, you go to the West Virginia Star Wars Collectors Club page, Facebook page. I think they have like 55 different vendors there. So
Wow.
if I wasn't busy this weekend, I would have tried to go up to West Virginia. It's only 6 hours away, but
Wow, that's not bad.
I'm going south. The ring travels south.
Right.
Anyways, that's it for news.
Right. And hopefully you'll get to hear, do you remember? Da, 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 September.
September for hopefully I get on that ride.
That would be all, dude. You need to do anything because
So
now
to cut the
there's
audience in, I'm going to Disney. Just as
yeah, dude. The rumor is it that they're doing they're starting to do a standby queue, or at least trying a standby queue. So maybe you'll get lucky.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know.
Dude, that ride, I would wait an hour for that ride. I would wait an hour, hour and a half for that ride.
Should wait 2 hours.
Probably. If I had no, it's at Epcot. Yeah, I would wait 2 hours because there's
Would
nothing
you
to do
wait
at Epcot.
3 hours?
If it was my only time in Epcot, probably.
Okay.
I mean, Epcot is not my favorite park, dude. I will not. But I mean, and it's most of the front of it's still under construction. So yeah, I'd probably wait 3 hours for it at Epcot. Why not?
I had promised my daughter I wouldn't go over to Hollywood Studios and Galaxy's Edge, but there is a pop-up Indiana Jones bar in Hollywood Studios. So now I'm like, how do I pop
Here's
over
what you
for
do
just
while
an
they're
hour?
waiting 3 hours to ride Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well,
You
then I
go to
can't
Hollywood
go.
Studios.
Then I can't go. Then I can't go on the ride. Why do
Then
I
you go
get
back to the ride and you're like, hey man, I had to go to the bathroom.
You're focusing on loses. I'm looking for a win.
Right.
Another callback to The Office. Win. That's a win-win-lose.
Oh, gotcha.
So, anyways, that's it. So, how was Joefest?
Joefest was awesome. I drove down with our buddy Jordan and Richard. I keep wanting to call him Robert, but somebody else called him Robert, and he's just like, I'm like, see, I'm not the only one. And he's like, yeah. I think it might have been Chance to make it even better. And then they had a buddy and his son rode down. So I had my Tucson was loaded down. We drove down, got there right about 11 and it wasn't as overwhelming this year. The past couple of times I've been to Joefest, it's just overwhelming. Hold on 1 second. My dogs like toilet paper. And I left the bathroom door open and we lost a roll of toilet paper.
How dare you? Just flush it.
No, they ate it up and it's all over the place.
We'll have fun with that later.
Yeah, awesome. So it wasn't as overwhelming this year, but it was still, they had some cool stuff. Still a lot of Joes, like Toy Department from Cincinnati. They come down and it was all Joes. I'm like, come on, guys, there's more than G.I. Joes to go on here.
Yeah, it is Joefest though. So.
It is Joefest. But I like it a little bit. It feels a little bit better organized, or it feels a lot better organized than like Toylanta because it's all in one big room.
Yes. Yeah. It feels bigger.
It feels bigger. So you can, it takes you 2 hours to walk it. And you don't get to really see anything. So you kind of do half of it and you're like, okay, we got to go get lunch, and then the other half, and then you get everybody back together and you're like, oh man, we got to go home.
Oh, really?
There was a lot, huh?
Is that what you did? You ate and then you went home and you just didn't go back in?
No, we went back in, but then it got to be about 4:00 and it was like time to go. There's a lot of, the thing I also like, there's a lot of, they're like the Mythic Legions. They're not there, but there's like 3 or 4 other toy manufacturers that are doing basically the same thing.
Yeah, like
they are
Animal Kingdom something.
Yeah, they were there. There's like a Action Force company that's there that's doing the same thing, but with army like 6-inch army builders. They made a Jeep that'll fit, I think either 6 or 8 men, 6-inch figures with different accessories, and they're going to charge under $200 for it, like a Hummer.
Well, that's a risk because you never know how those. I mean, I don't want to. poo anything. If it works out, great. But when I hear prices like that, like, is it in production? Is this like a Kickstarter?
I don't know what it is. I think it was one that they were announcing at the show. Like, this is our Jeep, and they had a couple of prototypes out.
Okay, I hope they can do it.
I hope so too. I mean, I'm not into army men, but
Neither
if
am
I
I.
was, I would have kind of bought one. Jordan was kind of pushing me to buy one. He was like, buy one so you can say, hey, I bought this at the show. And I'm like, it's $35, dude.
Did Jordan buy one?
Jordan bought some Animal Kingdom.
But did he buy the?
No, he didn't buy the Action Force guy.
So then stop telling. Maybe he's trying to live through you or something vicariously.
Yeah, I guess. The Animal Kingdom people, they had the first wave out and it looked they looked good, but then the second wave looked more impressive. And I'm like, I want the second wave stuff. But they didn't really have anything there. And they were in the $35 range. I did pick up a Mythic Legion while I was there. One that I kind of kicked myself for not picking up at Toylanta. It was another vampire it's got this really badass hawk that sits on his shoulder, on his arm. And he's got a bow and arrow with him. And then I picked up like an ET pot thing that he sits in a planner for Mandy that she didn't have, which I was excited because I found something ET she didn't have.
Wow.
So that's the only thing I picked up. There was a lot of vintage, a good mix of vintage Star Wars, a good mix of toys. I mean, just all around. I didn't really see anything that was like, well, they had one. I'm like, oh my God, but there was one booth that had some really cool stuff, had some prototypes. They had a Han Solo 6-inch, like the old man Han, for like $200.
Was that Clifton's booth?
No, it wasn't at Clifton's booth.
Oh,
Clifton had an adventure that day. He went to buy left like early to go buy some toy lot or whatever, and he just never made it back to the show because every time I'd go by his booth, his guy was just like, yeah, he's just having trouble.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so I was kind of mad, but not mad. I was just like, man, I wanted to say hi to Clifton, but he never made it to the show that on Saturday.
So was it a Black Series Old Man Han?
Yeah.
Green?
No, it wasn't green. It was like gray.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I should have sent it to you.
It's probably best that you didn't.
Because you would have been like, damn it, I gotta buy that.
How were prices comparatively, for like vintage stuff? Did you pay attention?
Not really. I thought, I'm starting to see a lot more beater bins, like $5 bins.
Those are coming back, places.
Yeah, those are starting to come back, which are good. The men on cards, you're seeing them still in the $100 to $200 range for a decent, a good starter card.
You're talking like Return of the Jedi figures?
Yeah. A little bit beat up, but they're, I did see some Ewoks, like the Ewok cartoon, but I didn't ask what those prices were because my wife has them all. So, it was a good mix. It was a good time. It just sucks that it was all the way in Augusta, but coming back, we hit some traffic and my GPS routed us like back roads all the way up like 316 past Lawrenceville. And I'm like, why is it doing this to us? And like, it was around your elbow to get to your butthole. And
you don't just really have to follow that, if you wanted to.
But it was like 45 minutes. It's like saved you 45 minutes.
Did it save you 45 minutes?
It cost us a half an hour, but I don't know what it would have cost. But when we were like getting done and getting back to 316 and back to reality, everybody was looking at their phones going, yeah, that traffic jam's still there. So it probably did.
Okay.
We did find a comic book. I do have something because when we were driving in, we saw it said Top Dog Comics. So I went to call them to see if they were open because we're like, we'll come when we're coming back. We'll see if they are. So I said, hey, Siri, call Top. And I got, he's not my Siri cancel. I knew it was going to do that.
It's calling right now.
Yeah. So I went, hey, Siri, call. And I went, Top the cop. And she's like, calling emergency services. And I'm like, stop.
You're calling now?
Okay, I won't do it. Thank you.
It's Siri's calling right now. Emergency services.
What's sad is I've got my iPad going. My iPad's going off. My iPhone's going off. I don't have my watch. It's in there. It's in my bedroom, but I'm sure everything would be going off.
What'll happen?
Yeah, so we ended up calling the cops, and thankfully I was able to stop it before it went through on my phone. And I'm like, they're gonna call me back. I'm in trouble. But then on the way back, we stopped in at Top Dog, and it was, you see comics and you're thinking it's gonna be typical comic shop where it's 95% comics, but it was reversed. It was actually a really cool shop. It didn't have any vintage Star Wars, but it was full of more modern stuff. Had pretty much something from every toy line there. Had a bunch of Masters of the Universe stuff. And in Jordan, I was like, oh man, I'd love this, but it's like $25. I'll just wait. And he's like, oh dude, I sold a bunch of Masters stuff at the last Powder Spring swap meet for cheap. And I'm like, thanks.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity. But then Richard's looking for like Bill and Ted stuff. And he's like, man, I need the Toy Biz Bill and Ted phone booth. I'm like, dude, I picked it up at the Powder Spring shop last week. He was like, damn it. So, and it basically picked it up for half price. So then he was even more double damn it. He was like, doggone it. But it's sitting in my collection now.
Where is this place?
It's in Augusta, Top Dog Comics.
Oh, it's out there.
Yeah, it's in Augusta.
Going back to Joefest, 2022, the crowd seemed a lot lighter than 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like in 2021, it was tough to walk around because you were bumping into people. But come 2022, that wasn't the case. How was it this year? Crowd-wise?
You weren't walking over people. It was I'd say it was like a normal crowd for a toy shop, average crowd. But then when we got back from lunch, it was definitely a lot deader. You could tell people had left.
Yeah.
A
lot of the same vendors as year after year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same vendors. You get a little bit more, a little bit different vendors, but like Clifton don't come down to Toylanta, but he comes to Joefest.
Yeah.
And I like looking through his booth because he always has some cool prototypes. He had a couple of Ahsoka heads that I need to message him about because the guy didn't know what he wanted on them. And I'm like, that's an Ahsoka head. That's going to just go up.
Yeah, you would get it now before. Well, now everybody knows. You better do it before Tuesday when this episode drops.
I need to message him and be like, dude.
Because Sam's might be right behind you.
He might be. I need to get those. But he had like 4 of them. So unless Sam buys all of them.
Plenty to go around.
Yeah.
And then, so you left around 4?
Yeah, we left about 4:00 and the show ended at 5.
Was anyone packing up?
No.
Okay, because I seem to remember last year there was 1 or 2 booths that were packing up Saturday.
Really?
Don't you remember that?
No, I missed that.
I know that happened at PowerCon, but I'm pretty certain someone was packing up during the show last. Because I remember thinking, isn't that a major faux pas? Like, aren't you not supposed to pack up on the day before it closes? Like, you need to wait till the end.
Yeah, they'll let you pack up a couple hours early on Sunday, but not Saturdays. Like you said, is kind of faux pas. I know you were talking PowerCon. There was a lot of talk of PowerCon, at least with the people we were with, and so PowerCon I think is going to be cool this year. And I think it was also the fact that Toylanta or Joelanta is the same weekend as PowerCon, so people's having to choose what they're going to go to.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then we were talking
PowerCon.
Yeah, I would probably choose PowerCon too because the 4 Horsemen are going to be there.
Oh.
And then Jordan started talking about Heroes Con in Charlotte next weekend. And I'm like, dude, I love Heroes Con. I just haven't been in years because we used to go for like 2 or 3 years in a row. Mandy and I would go. And we discovered it just on a whim because we were hanging out with some friends and we're like, we need to go do something. Let's find a convention. And we saw there was a convention in Charlotte. And we were able to find a hotel room downtown Charlotte for fairly cheap. And we loved it. It was probably, a good, easy 50% artist and not as many toys, but it was still a good con to go to. And then Jordan's like, oh yeah, 4 Horsemen's going to be at Heroes Con next week too. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Do they have an exclusive?
I don't think they'll have an exclusive, but you're going to have some, they'll do the stuff where they dig through the warehouse and find some cool stuff to bring.
Oh, yeah.
But and then Mandy's like, go have fun. I'm like, I'm really going to spend $500 to save $20 on a toy.
No, you're not.
No,
just skip it.
Right.
There's cons every weekend. It's like, I can't do this.
No, it's rough, dude. I'm kind of glad. I'm looking forward to 4th of July and having that 4-day weekend so I can just veg.
I wish.
Yeah, somebody has to go to a wedding that weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long ass weekend. Anyways, I have the
Hey,
4th
did you hear
off.
about hey, did you hear about all the cougar sightings in downtown Woodstock last night?
Is this a joke?
At
No, I
the Rick
didn't.
Spring, yeah, at the amphitheater for Rick
No.
Springfield.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah, dude, with everything going on, yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, I wanted to try to get him on, but then I realized what day it was, and I'm just like, you were busy, you were at the lake, I was at Joefest, and it was just not going to happen.
Yeah, but if I had known, I would have gone to skip the lake. I mean, that is just a huge. He's such a huge Star Wars fan. It would have been great just to ask him 5 questions. Can I have, 2 minutes of your time to ask you 5 questions about Star Wars collecting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird because you've got this major rock singer or rock star, and he's a Star Wars collector like us. Leonardo DiCaprio used to be one too.
Yeah.
He had a massive collection that he sold off early 2000s.
Damn.
It was up for auction too.
Yeah, I think Rick Springfield had had a Toy Fair sample, like maybe that Toy Fair sample FET that was like $100,000 been on card or something crazy, or I think I remember him owning that or something crazy. One like a crazy piece like that.
Yeah,
in his
he might have.
collection.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors, we had our meetup at Fernando's place, and Fernando does the dioramas at Toylanta, the massive ones that he uses with recycled materials. So we got to go over to his place. Because of everything that was going on, it was a rather limited meetup. Like there's only 4 or 5 of us, which was kind of a bummer because I do enjoy seeing everyone. So when they're not there, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But the people I did see, it was great. Hi guys, I love seeing you. I don't want to say like, oh, people. Anyways,
no, I get it, because it is the more the merrier when it comes to those things, and it does stink when you have one. I mean, you still enjoy the time, but when you have one that has 5 people versus 20, it's more going on when there's 20 people there.
Fernando used to work at Target, so he has a bunch of displays. Everyone just knew if there was a Star Wars display, just hold it and give it to Fernando.
Nice.
So he's got a bunch of displays in there. He's got tons of dioramas. And I love seeing it. I just regret that I missed out seeing it complete, because he's got shelves and he's got like pieces and parts of his displays, his dioramas up on those shelves, but it's not the full thing. Like he had the pod race scene, he had like the stadium, and he had towers and stuff. And so the only thing that remains are the towers, but they're up on the shelf, and he's got a Tatooine display, and he's got all this cool stuff. He's working on Scarif base for the next Toylanta in March 2024. Nice. And so he had us making palm trees because he needs thousands of palm trees, and it is such an intricate process to make these palm trees. And he's like, you can make one for me, and then you make another one, you can just keep it. And I'm like, oh great, I can take something home, this will be fun. Nice. So we're cutting out pieces of paper, we're taping wire to the paper so that way you can get like a little fold, like a roll, and so it looks normal. Was cutting up the palm leaf to make it look like a palm leaf with, like, for lack of a better term, fingers sticking out,
right.
Putting them in straws and then attaching the wire that the leaves are connected to into the straw, and it comes out at the bottom, and you kind of fan it out. And you put tape on it so it would stick there, and so it doesn't move. It's all one connected piece. And then when I was done, we went over to the hot glue place, and we put some straw and some beads to make it look like coconuts. And so after finishing 2 of these, I was like, this is a lot of work. You just keep both of them because I feel bad for you.
Right.
He has a shed.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a shed that he bought from Home Depot, and that's where he does all of his work now. And it's insulated, so it feels like really nice and comfortable in there. I was expecting it to be like a heat shack.
Uh-huh.
That just wasn't the case. But I walked out there, and on the table, he has the Scarif Tower in cardboard. He hasn't finished it yet,
Mhm.
and he hasn't painted it. He hasn't finished the surfaces, but it's the giant tower. It's got the shape, and it's all made out of cardboard. And at the top, he used a dish TV satellite for the
Uh-huh.
satellite dish. So there's a giant actual dish on top.
Wow.
So he's got to
So that thing's
paint it.
got to be huge.
Yeah, he's got to paint it. He's got to add the surface texture. I asked him about the catwalk. Is that where the action is at the top, where there's the
Yeah,
final showdown between?
yeah, that's what I'd call it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I got to do it this way, and if I do it this way, it's supposed to be this way, but then the weight might shift, so I think I have to support it this way, and so he's got this all worked out in his head. And I asked him how big it was going to be, the display. It's put together. He wants
How
to
big
make.
is it?
He
Because you
had
broke. How big is it? Because you broke up.
It's going to be about 4 8-foot tables put together.
Wow.
So he's got to fill that with palm trees. He's got the tower in basic form. He had a U-wing and a tie striker on the table next to it. So he's got the figures.
Mhm.
He's going to have to make all those palm trees, and he wants to make 2 of the sheds, the garages. What are they called? Where the action happens, like
Yeah, the utility shed or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, with the sliding doors. They look like the bunkers. They're more like the
Yeah,
Endo
there you go.
bunkers.
Bunkers.
But there's the one where a Baze and Cheer It are, I'm one with the force. The force is with me. You've got to.
Right.
So he's going to make that side, and then the other side he wants to make where that Imperial ship is. We asked Max about it. He said it was too big, and Hasbro hasn't made it yet, but he wants to do it where they're setting up the signal and stuff. So
Wow.
he's got all that. And then also right in the middle where we were making the palm trees, he had the AT-ACT. So he's got one that's ready to go. And I was actually playing with it because I don't know if I've ever played with it before, but that's a really cool vehicle as well. So
Very cool.
it was fun. It was great.
No, it looked like a good meetup. I saw that he put y'all to work, so that was cool that he actually thought some like out an activity for you guys to do this. That was cool.
Yeah, he also set up like the Hawaiian punch bottles, like the jugs or water jugs, the clear ones. He took 2 of those and he put them on like a bird feeder hook, so they're suspended about eye level, and he cut holes in the middle of it with 2 lines. There's a base line and a top line, and your job was to take a squirt gun and be a stormtrooper and shoot the hole and try to get the water into the jug, and the first one to take it up from the bottom line to the top line wins. And he had 2 different size squirt guns. He had a smaller one and a larger one. The larger one had obviously more volume in it. But as I was pumping this thing and trying to shoot, every time I'd pump, I'm pulling back, but as I pull back, I'm shaking the gun. So it got really challenging to hold the gun in place and pump at the same time without moving it. And at the end, I was like, I'm really empathetic now for stormtroopers because I couldn't hit that for my life. Like I was like, I don't
You
want
didn't
to play
even have a
game.
helmet on.
No, I didn't have a helmet on, and I didn't want to play this game anymore because it was too tough.
Fernando, I'm done.
I'm done. This is too difficult. I don't want to do this.
Who
But it was
ended up
fun.
winning? Who ended up winning?
I don't know. I left, unfortunately, because I had to go down to the lake.
Oh,
So I left early. I don't know if they played it because there was about an hour and a half left.
I got you.
But it was fun. It was cool to challenge. It was cool to do something different.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's always the challenging thing when you host meetups is to try to find something for people to do.
Yeah. He had hot dogs. He had burgers. Like it was a nice spread, and I really appreciated his hospitality. It was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And the next one's the summer social.
Yep. That's
That'll
another
be
month away.
Yeah, it'll be a long weekend, man.
Let's as we wind down here, let's do something different. I have a character here, a Star Wars character from the Star Wars universe, and you have 20 questions to try to figure out who it is. And that way
Okay.
people could play along in the car or whenever they're listening. So just something different.
All right. So I guess I start asking questions now.
Is that the first question?
No, not if I only have. Are you a humanoid?
What?
Are
It's
you
a yes or no
humanoid?
situation. So
Right, that's what I was asking. Are you a humanoid?
Okay. Yes.
Do you have red hair?
No.
Did you lose a hand or a
No.
limb? Do you wield a lightsaber?
No.
All right, so that's no Jedis. Um, yes or no? Do you like the cantina? Will we see you in the cantina?
No. That's 15 questions left.
15 questions left. So we know it's a humanoid, no Jedi, not a bar. So are you a smuggler?
No.
Okay, so that's a big chunk out. Are you male or female?
That's a yes or no question.
Okay, are you male?
I would say yes. I don't know if gender's been associated with said character, but I think yes.
Okay, so more masculine. Okay, that's yeah, okay.
Is that another question?
No, it's not.
No.
So
14 left.
14 left. Do you wear clothes?
Yes.
See, I'm no. Do you have a blaster?
Yes.
Well, everybody has blasters, Glenn. That's a stupid question. So it's a humanoid figures. Has a blaster. Will we have seen you in the sail barge?
No.
Okay. And then you're putting me on the spot, and I can't think when
Yeah,
I'm
I
put
know.
on the
I know.
spot.
I know. I know.
Do you have a helmet on?
Yes.
Okay, so he wears a helmet. Has a blaster. Not on the sail barge, not in a cantina. Wears clothes, so he has. Oh, geez. So I probably still got like 10 questions, don't I?
You got 10 questions left. Yeah. No.
10 questions. All right. And he wears a helmet. We see your face in the helmet?
Yes.
Are you that dude with no, we don't see your face, so it's not that dude with you are not that no, he's not in a cantina, so it's not that dude with the
Who?
well, the dude that has the spaceman helmet in the cantina, but it's not him because he
No,
said
it's not him. He's not.
It's not him.
Yeah.
Because he's not in a cantina. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a question.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to count that one. You still have 9 questions.
Damn it.
No, wait. Yeah, 9 questions.
9 questions. Do you speak?
Yes.
So you do speak. Would we have seen you in any of the movies?
Yes.
Dude.
You're thinking.
I'm thinking.
What?
Nothing. I'm just trying to think of somebody with a helmet on.
Well, just
Do you
ask about the. Oh,
Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you fly? You're not a.
You
Trying
fly
to
what?
come up with a ship question.
Do
Would
you
we
fly-
know your ship? Huh?
Go ahead.
Would we know your ship? Does your ship have a name that we would recognize?
Yes. I chose a challenging character. But it's not that challenging once you go back and listen to this whole thing, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, all right.
So he has a helmet on. We know his ship. And he's seen in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Cue the Jeopardy tune. You've got 6 questions left.
6 questions.
6
Holy
questions,
smokes.
and I feel like you're nowhere closer than when you started.
I really am not. So we know his ship.
Yep.
He's and he's been in the movies.
Yep.
He has a helmet
And a blaster.
and a blaster, and he wears clothes, and he's humanoid.
Yep.
So I'm like the big furry bat dude that's flying around or whatever. Crap.
The Minox?
Not maybe not. No, not the
No.
Minox, but there's like a little short guy that. Never mind. Like
What?
a bat dude. Like he has a bat face. That's
And
not him.
No, in the cantina?
No, he's not in the yeah, but isn't there? Don't they repurpose that somewhere in
I
one
don't
of the
think so.
movies?
I don't
It's
think
not
so,
in-
no.
So would you be in the sequel trilogy?
Yes.
So you're in the sequel trilogy.
5 questions left.
Jesus. All right. So I know I can. Well, it doesn't really matter because if crap.
It's
I really suck at these games.
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
Thank
I
you
didn't
so
realize
much.
it was going to be this bad, but okay.
Yeah, it's
You got
bad,
5
dude. You knew
questions
when you
left.
put me on the spot, it was going to
No,
be.
I
this
didn't know it was
bad.
going to be. It's not bad. I just thought you'd have. I don't know. Anyways, continue. 5 questions
You thought
left.
I'd be better at 20 questions than this?
I thought you'd be asking bigger questions, not is he a humanoid? Like you're focused on the small stuff. I think the key to 20 questions is you start big and then you work your way small.
Oh.
So when you
I
ask
play-
the sequel one, this like 5 questions left, I'm like, oh, that probably should have been like one of the first questions in my
So
mind. But
you're in the sequel. You ride a ship. Has a helmet. Where's a helmet?
yeah. Yes, sir.
You're not in Kanji Club, are you?
No, and you've got 4 questions left.
Everybody's driving off the road at this point. They're like, you suck
They're-
at this, Glenn.
Well, I don't think they have any clue what it is right now either.
They don't because I
No.
suck at it.
4 questions. Come on, throw quick 4 questions out. Wish I could say more than yes and no because
Right.
Focus, but
You don't have a bunch of capes, right?
no. 3
All right,
questions.
so it's not Lando. Because Lando doesn't wear a helmet. 3 questions. You don't do you fly an X-Wing?
Yeah.
Is it Wedge?
No. 1 question left.
Is it Poe?
No. It's Nine Numb, who was in the
Nine
sequel trilogy flying an X-Wing, but he was also in the original trilogy flying a familiar vehicle called the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
He wears a helmet in the sequel trilogy. He's a humanoid, and he has a blaster. And I thought you were so close because you said Lando. I'm like, he flies right next to Lando. Get it, man. But no, it was Nine Numb.
I know.
In
I
the
was
end.
getting there.
You were so close. So close. The whole time, so close. Anyways, I thought I would just break it up and try something different. We might do it again sometime.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get better.
Maybe not. Anything else?
I don't think so, man. Nothing too crazy. No.
Okay.
So next week is Jedi Con. Is it Jedi Con? What are they calling it in West Virginia?
I think it's the Jedi Con. I just deleted it, but yeah, I think it's the Jedi Con. It's,
West Virginia Star Wars Club. Look them up and see what they're doing.
Yep. All goes to charity, so it's a good show. Hopefully there's that dude with the micro machines. I hope he comes back. Oh man, that was killer last time because Sam was busy, so he didn't see my response to yes, buy them all, and it was too late. But anyways, we'll see.
Oh, damn it.
This time it might be me because I'll be busy down south.
Right. Do you remember? That's what you're going to be doing, I hope. You need to ride that ride, dude.
I will.
If you had a choice, ride that over Ratatouille, but I know you like Ratatouille too.
Yeah. Hopefully Remy will say something like, thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, if it's allowed. It really helps us out and points people to our show. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We'd love feedback. We'd love to make you part of our show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. You could find him over at the Rock the Force podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro re-released VC66. Hashtag vote with your wallet, which I saw real quick for $1,000 on eBay. It didn't sell, but it's listed VC66 on eBay for $1,000. So that's why I say Hasbro re-release it. Vote with your wallet. Sabine will be on next week. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way. You know, I've seen those things popping up, so maybe you can buy one day.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I win the lotto.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I'd do if I win the lottery. And yeah.
You would know because I would have a salacious crumb.